Hello, this is Bob at Chartsmart. I'm going to do a brief video on backtesting. It's one of the more useful and complicated features in Chartsmart, stocks charting and screening software. You can go to chartsmart.com and download Chartsmart for free and try it for a month. This video, what you do is we've got a chart on IBM, and I'm going to go to the tools, and in this area you can see the historical variables, and that refers to being able to look at screening variables, not just today but throughout the history. For example, you could screen on an RSI, 14-day RSI value 10 days ago, which is historical. So what has to happen is, in order to use it, we have to have various files for each day that have all those values, like the RSI 14 or whatever. Now I've gone into the backtest file downloader, and I think today is the 5th, so it might go grab the 4th, and it's got, as you can see, it's got a lot of backtest files in here. These are big files, so it's unzipping the file, and you can see now it only needs the 5th, and the reason why it's still here is because the file isn't available today, not till 4:30 in the afternoon. So that's the backtest file downloader. Now once we've got it, there's a whole section on filter alerts too, which is not necessarily related to backtesting, but it will show an alert when a crossover or something happens in one of your screens on a previous date. So for example, if there was a candlestick engulfing breakout or something, or a doji, and you had that in here, you could actually have an alert show up on the chart, let's say 14 days ago when that occurred, so you can see on the chart when they occurred and what happened afterwards. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to get into the backtesting, and this is the backtesting menu, and you can see the bottom's cut off a little bit, but that's okay. These are all the sets that are available in Chartsmart. So you can see there's the beginner ones here, and I'll just scroll down here and you can see intermediate and advanced, and then there's group 4, which are ones that you have created or I've created. And what I've done is I've actually put some backtest ones in the advanced group. So what I can do is, you can see on the left I've selected some for backtesting, and instead of going view all, I can go selected. So these ones I've selected, and if I click on one of these, you'll see that in this box on the right it changes, showing which the criteria are. Now you'll notice they're all the same up to there. Okay, we're looking at Toronto, New York, NASDAQ, American between $10 and $1,000, and underneath that is only where it changes, because what I've done is I've made a template, which is this. So this screen here is all stocks in Toronto, New York, and NASDAQ that are between $10 and $1,000 that have an activity of over 95% in the last 35 or 30 days. So that's a lot of stocks. That might be 6,000. But we have that in here, or I have that in here as a it's kind of like an index to say, well, I've added these other criteria. For example, I've said, well, I'm going to keep those, but I'm also going to say that I want the tick price to be down 3 days in a row, or I want it to be at its 10-week low, just touched it, or I want the RSI to have just gone over 75 or under 25. So these are just examples. Now what I can do is, for example, I can go back, say 10 days. Now this is the list of the backtest files, and because I have so many, I can go back 10 days and I can go and backtest from 10 days ago to the current day. Okay, and I could do a simple backtest on this, and I'm actually going to click this button to display a line on the charts, and it only applies to the daily charts. Now if I run the backtest, let's see what happens. So it goes through all of those sets. There are about 9 of them, And what we've done is we've said, well, okay, I'm looking at what these stocks that were screened 10 days ago, what are they now? So let's look at the view results. Okay, so what this says is that, first of all, it puts the best result in here, and it says over that 10-day period, or 9-day period, which was from June 21st to July 4th, on this analysis, the RSI being under 25 resulted in the best screen, and it actually resulted in a return of 3.9% over those 9 days. Okay, and that was the screen. Now the next step is we can view the charts, and this is cut off in the bottom, but I'm just going to click that, and we can go through these. And by the way, I'm going to go back there actually to show you where were we, back testing. We can go view results again, and you can see here it found 25, and it's actually listed them here. And for example, SIAD NASDAQ went up 11% from $12 to $13.50. Okay, and then we can see some that went down. It sorted them on the best to worst. Okay, so let's look at the charts, at these 25 charts, which is right here. And we're going to begin scrolling, but we want to look at a daily chart. Okay, first thing I'm going to note is that there's a line on here, and you'll note that this line is the backtest from date. That was June 21st. So this was the first stock, and you can see SIAD, if we look at that price again on that day, it closed at 12.06, and if we look at it what it is now, we can actually right click here and we can see it's 13.50. Okay, so what I want to do is just show you what's happened here. So we go back to back testing again to our results, and there you can see the same numbers. It went from 12.06 to 13.49. Okay, so we have calculated the rate of return automatically in Chartsmart for those 25 companies. And what we're going to do is scroll through them, and of course, since they're sorted, you're going to see the best ones first. Okay, so there's the two blue lines, and you can see, hey, this screen is amazing. It picked these stocks. And what I want to note is, look at the bottom, the RSI. You'll see that it was under 25 right before they went up, and that was the signal that it was using. So this is a way to say, hey, maybe that screen is pretty good. So I'll go back here, and I went to the backtest file manager. I'm going to go to backtesting, I'm going to go to view results, and you can see that the other criteria are sorted, and the worst one was the engulfing candlestick. Now this is the return, right? But we can actually view how many. And you remember down here there's 25. Let's click here, and you can see it actually shows 21 here. And I'm not sure quite why. It has to do with maybe some of them getting taken out, maybe possibly because of splits or something like that. But you can also see that when you go back test all, it comes up with 4,000. Okay, so that's because we haven't got any criteria really. We're just using the basic screens of those main exchanges where they were 95% of the days trading. And I forgot, let's go out again and just check what that was, and they were between $10 and $1,000. So what we've done is we've been able to get an idea of what might be better. Now we could also test that again. Okay, we could test it because we did a 9-day period, let's go back and test it from 20 days and see if the RSI works as well. Okay, so we're doing about 10 days. Let's do it again. Only let's go 11, so it's the same 9 days. We'll rerun the backtest and let's see what we get, if that one actually worked for this previous 10-day period. And it's not the highest this time, and it's actually lower here. So this has to make us question why it occurred, why it was best in the last 10 days but not the previous 10 days. and we can look at why the MACD was better over that period. So let's look at this. We'll click on this, and you can see here's some of the companies. There were 483 companies, and here their returns. And let's look at a few charts. Okay, and there we go. This is the first one, and you can see on the top 2 of 481. So here we go. So basically what I've tried to do, and you can notice how the blue lines are going from 20 to 11 days ago, so you can see the range when that back test was done. Okay, so this is the first lesson on back testing, and it's a complicated process, and Chartsmart has to remove companies that have splits or they're not trading anymore, and so on. And in this case, we've excluded ETFs, which is another feature in Chartsmart. We don't have to do that, but that's the end of this first video, and further on we'll discuss incremental backtesting, and we'll what you want to do here now is go to your filter menu and create new filter sets, and then come back here and try to find ones that work regularly. Now, the backtesting only works with technical variables, not fundamentals, and generally speaking you should be using it from periods of 0 to 30 or 40 days and looking at daily charts. Okay, so it's just about the feature. It gives you a general idea, and we'll be doing lots more videos on this, and probably webinars if you visit the Chartsmart site at chartsmart.com. And great, thanks for listening.